Howdy YouTube, and welcome to this episode of Gunman. So today we're going to be doing the spray painting stage on this Porsche Cayenne. So the name of the colour is Deep Black Pearl, and the colour code is 2T or LC9X. Now when I say that, that's actually the Volkswagen colour code. So this is a Porsche, and you might have noticed that that was a Volkswagen colour code. So obviously these things must be made in the Volkswagen factory, and I found that the Volkswagen colour chips were actually closer to this car than what the Porsche ones were, so I just went with it. So as I say, I'm not actually 100% sure what the colour code in the Porsche is, but if you type that in as a Volkswagen colour, you'll be able to find that colour. It's actually quite a nice colour. When you get these things out into the sun, they're subtle but nice, just a little bit nicer than your straight up solid black. So we're not getting too involved in the masking or the prep work stages on this job. You might have noticed that there was a couple of extra dents that I did myself on this one here, on the quarter panel and the door, but obviously the panel beater, or the body man as they would call it in America, he did the repair on the rear door. It turned out we actually had to get him back over. There was a little bit that we weren't quite happy with, so yeah, we got him back out and then we re-primed it, and then I did those couple of small painter's dents as they call them, in a bit of UV primer, and then yeah, got it all prepped up and masked up, and now we're in the booth and we're wiping it down with some pre-cleaner. So product code for this is 6800, and yeah, just giving it a good wipe down with that before I tack rag it, which is what I'm obviously doing now. So everything happens quite quickly when it comes to the base coat stage. I even notice it on my end from editing the videos. It's like, oh yeah, I'm talking about the base coat stage, and before you know it, we're on to clear coat. Because yeah, spraying the base coat down with this Standoblue, which is the paint system we are using. I actually forgot to mention that, so that is why I gave it a wipe down with the water cleaner, because we are using the Standoblue, which is the Standox waterbourne system. Now excuse my fast talking, I've had 3 double shot cappuccinos today. That's because I've recently bought myself a coffee machine, and it's fair to say I've been enjoying it. So yes, on to the base coat stage. We're using the DeVilbiss DV1 HVLP plus air cap, and 1.2 is the setup. So as you see here, I'm doing the blends first. Now that's probably the best way to spray this stuff here. I think it's more important when you're doing like your coarse metallics and your light metallics, all that kind of stuff. So this one here is like a dark enough color that you don't need the base coat blender. So yeah, usually you would do your blend first, so that the base coat blender is still wet when you're blending into it. So as I say, it's not as important when you're doing a dark color like a black like this where you're not using your blender, but I guess it's just a good habit to get into, and once you do it on your silvers and pretty much every other color, you'll just be doing it on your blacks as well, just out of habit. So yeah, like if I was spraying this job here in solvent, you'd probably start off by doing the door, like the center of the door, color the door in, and then you'd move on to your blends. But yeah, it's sort of like backwards when you're spraying this Standoblue water system. So you might notice there that you just put one coat down first, and then you hold the gun back a little bit and slow down. Nice tight overlap, and that seems to get the metallics to lay down nicely and replicate the color chip. So again, this color here, I didn't actually spray out, I didn't check it, just looked at that color card. It looked great, and as long as I spray it properly, it should come out fine. So you probably even notice already that it's drying down relatively quickly. Like if this is a silver, I might actually be getting some mottle issues, but I know that it's a black and you're really not going to get those kind of issues. So it was a pretty stinking hot day, obviously. If it's drying this quickly, like as I'm spraying, it must be a pretty hot day. So I actually remember this job here. I don't usually do overtime at this workshop, but it turns out that the boss came down. I think this is, yeah, it was on a Tuesday leading up to before Christmas 2019, so last year now. But yeah, the boss came down. He said, man, I've gone and promised the owner this car back on the Wednesday, so you know, it had to be done that Tuesday night. So I stayed back until like 5:30 or something like that. So that's unlike me, I don't usually do that much overtime, but yeah, I was sweating it out, man. I tell you what, like sweating my ass off in the spray booth. But yeah, kind of good in the way of once I got it down, it was bang. By the time I went out, cleaned the guns out, mixed the clear up, it was pretty much right to clear. So I didn't have to piss fight around for too long waiting for the base coat to dry. But yeah, this was just one of those jobs that, like, looking at it on paper, you'd think, oh yeah, it's just like the 3 panels as far as like your 2 doors and your quarter panel and then your bumper and a couple of moldings. Oh yeah, that couldn't take too long, but for whatever reason it was, it took a bit longer than what I would have thought in the morning. So around this time, like, we were a detailer down, you know, so we've been low on staff, so I had to go out and do polishing halfway, and then you sometimes like lose your train of thought on the job, if you know what I mean. You're like, oh, where was I? And then it takes, like, you know, a couple of minutes to get back into the swing of exactly where you were on the job. And then, as I said, like, had those couple of little extra repairs to do on the adjacent panels, because, you know, you're not going to go and paint over sharp dents like on right next to where you've repaired, especially on a car like this. I mean, you know, you might draw the line on something that's been hit with hail damage or something, but a car in this condition of this age, you know, you just want to spend that little bit extra time on it and get it right. Yeah, that's one of the ones that I say to my apprentices. I say, you know, like, do you think the owner of that car is going to care, really? Like, within reason, obviously. You don't want to make them wait for like 3 weeks for their car back, but do you really think that they're going to mind waiting an extra day? Let's just say it turns out I had to put this car off until the next day. The finish of the repair, like the finished quality, is probably more important than getting your car back so quick, you know. And, you know, the quality of repair, that's with them, or at least with that car, for life, you know. Whereas you're soon going to forget, oh, it took an extra day. I would think so anyway. So yeah, basically take that little bit of extra time and get the job done properly. But in saying that, like, there's nothing to say that you can't mix the two together, like do a good quality repair in a good amount of time. So yeah, it seems like a lot of shops these days, it's like one or the other, you know. Like, you've got these basically sausage factory places and they just go on numbers and they don't care about quality. So they'll look at it like, if we do 100 jobs and 5 come back, they've won. You know, but I don't think anyone's really won. At the end of the day, yeah, they've made their profit and they've won in that aspect, but, you know, have they really done that job any justice, or their own customers any real justice by putting out subpar quality work? Yeah, like, a bad reputation is hard to shake. So as I say, like, they might not actually be, as far as longevity and, you know, bigger picture of their own business, they might not actually be doing themselves any justice. But all of that aside, let's get back onto the job. As I said, I'm overly caffeinated and probably just rambling, but at the end of the day, I always get people leaving comments saying, man, I love it when you just go off and start rambling crap while I'm watching you spray. So yeah, back onto the job, giving it a good tack rag down. Now, you might have noticed that I was using the air blower just for a couple of minutes. So the way I'll do it now is I'll spray the base coat down and then straight away get the air blower onto it for like 2 or 3 minutes. So it's sort of like 80% or above dry. Then I'll walk out, clean the base coat gun out, mix my clear coat up, and by that time it's usually, well, it's always 100% dry. Now, it is in the warmer months at the moment as I was spraying this, so as I said before, it was like leading up to Christmas, and here in Australia that's our summer. So yeah, the spray gun I'm using, obviously, as you probably saw pop up on screen then, is the SATA Jet Phaser X. So the setup I've got is 1.3i. So basically this gun here is like an Iwata Supernova that feels like a SATA in the hand. So yeah, it sprays so similar to the Iwata Supernova WS. So clear coat I'm using is the Standox Standard Clear. That's a 4:1 clear, and yeah, I'm just using fast hardener. There's like a few quirks about this spray booth that you've got to know. Like, it's a nice big size spray booth, but for whatever reason, when they built this spray booth, they put the inlet of the booth on the inside of the workshop. So when you're doing your dry sanding and you're getting dust all through the workshop, it's basically sucking it into the roof filters. And then what happens is when you turn the spray booth off, it's like it puts a shutter through the roof filters, and basically all that dust will like drop from the roof filters or the ceiling filters into your spray job, and then it will basically result in tiny little low spots, or what looks like silicon. If you didn't know any better, you would think, oh, there's like heaps of tiny little bits of silicon, but I know what it is. So basically I use fast hardener even on the really hot days in this spray booth, because as I say, if it's not really like pretty much touch dry by the time I turn that spray booth off, I'm going to get stuff landing in it. Now, I have mentioned that in many other videos in the past, but it's just one of those things that like you've got to learn the shop. And as I say, there's going to be little quirks about every single spray booth that you've got to learn. So we've got this spray booth here. This is what we call like the big booth. And then we've got the one next door, which was like, I believe actually the very first spray booth, first or second spray booth in Western Australia. That's how old it is. It's like from the 70s, and it's got glass windows right down the side. That's because it was actually a demo booth. So yeah, that's pretty cool. But basically that one there, that's got its own little quirks about it. And yeah, basically every other workshop I've been in, they've got their own little things that make them unique. And look, I love this spray booth. It's a really nice big booth. You can get some really clean jobs out of it. But as I say, you just got to use fast hardener most of the time, unless you're doing a respray. So like, if I'm doing like a real big job, like a respray or something like that, I'll happily use slow hardener, but I'll leave the booth like running on spray cycle for like an hour and a half. And I know it sounds like a bit of a waste of gas or whatever, but it's just what you've got to do to get that job done. So yeah, I've actually seen, like, there's a good idea that my apprentice showed me, and he's got the same spray booth at trade school, but they put like a filter on the inlet, which is something that we don't have here. We did try it here, but basically it chokes up, and like there was not enough air coming through. It's like yeah, stopping the airflow coming into the spray booth. But yeah, that's all probably technical stuff that you probably don't really need to listen to. I just smashed a couple of coats of clear coat down over that Standoblue base coat. It looks really clean. The finish is killer. And yeah, as much as I did have to stay back and do an hour and a half's overtime, and I don't usually like doing it, it's always a good feeling when you get to see a nice finish like that. Overtime or no overtime. Yeah, I've been in this game for, yeah, this is my 20th year, so it's 2020 now. I started my apprenticeship, I think it was, yeah, April 2000. So, yep, this is my 20th year in the game. And I still get a kick out of laying a nice coat of clear coat down, and even prep work. Like, believe it or not, I love doing my prep work. I love doing my masking. There's not much about this trade that I don't like. I mean, nobody likes getting pulled off a job, right, to go out the back and polish. But in and of itself, I actually don't mind polishing. It's not that bad of a job. As I've said this in like other videos, like I don't mind getting out there and doing the polishing. It's just the fact that it takes me away from the spraying, which I'd rather be doing, and I'd mainly rather be doing it because I'm more productive in the paint shop. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with a good hard day's work. I reckon it's good for the soul. You know, I had 2 weeks off over the Christmas break recently, and yeah, straight away, like the first day I went back to work, as soon as my head hit the pillow at like 9 o'clock at night, bang, I was out like a light. I reckon it's good for your physical and mental health, a good hard day's work. There's also the other side of it, a feeling of achievement and accomplishment. You can look back at what you've done after a hard day's work, and you can say, I've built that. Let's just say you're a builder, or I've sprayed that, you know, if you're a spray painter like myself. So look, if you've got someone in the family that's sort of 18, 19 years old looking at getting into a trade, I would encourage them to do it. Whatever trade it be, whether or not it's house painting, bricklaying, whatever it be, they are very rewarding trades, getting into a physical trade. I think they're good for your physical well-being, and at the end of the day, especially here in Australia, we've got a skills shortage. So why you've got teachers out there that are telling their kids to get into gender studies and all these kind of stupid classes that are not really gonna further the development of the human race, when you've got cars that need spraying and you know, houses that need building. Get the kids into that stuff, mate. We need it, you know, so yeah. Well, I thank you for sitting down for the last 13 or so minutes and listening to me on a coffee high and rambling on about spray painting. What other various things came to my mind as I was sitting in front of my computer and doing the voiceover for this. Now, this is a car, obviously, hadn't been cleaned yet. I'm a very busy man. I don't always have time to follow absolutely every single car around. But all that aside, I hope you have enjoyed, and if you did, drop a like down below, hit subscribe if you're not already, but yeah, why wouldn't you be? Until next time, get out there and paint some shit. Thanks for watching, and this has been another Gunman production.